Have you ever been scolded by a parent or called out by your boss? Okay, never mind, that's a dumb question. We've all been there. The point here is, we've all felt shame, but did you know it's harmful? In this video, we'll explore the origins of shame, its impact, and reveal vulnerability as the antidote, fostering resilience and happiness. Building a culture of vulnerability can banish shame, promoting creativity, engagement, and healthier environments at work, school, and home. Can we call it our fear of social disconnection? It's like an unwelcome visitor tied to our deep-rooted desire for connection and belonging. This takes us back to the Stone Age, when our survival was hinged on group unity and defending against intruders. Fast forward to today, and social disconnection literally hurts, thanks to our brain chemistry. Now, why do we feel shame? It's this nagging belief that we're not worthy of the love and connection we need. This belief messes with our heads, making us fear judgment and rejection. And oh boy, it holds us back from trying new things. But what if we embraced our unconditional worthiness? Let's call it courage. So far, research has shown us that shame doesn't help us grow. Nope, it just leads to negativity. So while feeling a bit of shame is human, let's not let it run the show in our lives. Let us tell you why. Living in the age of social media, we constantly showcase our lives, achievements, and even friend count, often sparking envy. This envy fuels a sense of scarcity, just adding to our common never enough culture. We measure ourselves against unrealistic standards, leading to shame, and ultimately disengagement as we resign to the belief of never being good enough. So instead of addressing trauma with vulnerability, we attempt to numb the fear by accumulating possessions or ceaselessly improving ourselves. This belief stems from the false notion that constant growth shields us from life's uncertainties. The consequence? A damaging cycle of comparison, shame, and disengagement. If you want to break free from this destructive path, keep watching, and we'll help you discover ways to combat shame by embracing vulnerability. The center of meaningful experiences. Think about vulnerability, and many might see it as a negative thing, linked to failure. But the reality is quite different. Vulnerability isn't inherently good or bad. It's about having the ability to feel emotions, both the challenging ones like fear and sadness, and the positive ones like love and joy. Consider love, for instance. When we love someone, we're putting ourselves out there emotionally, risking the chance they might not feel the same way. Love, like any deep emotion, involves vulnerability. Oh, and allowing yourself to be vulnerable is a sign of strength and courage, not weakness. It takes courage to open up and risk the possibility of not succeeding. Ultimately, we all crave loss and connection in our lives, and these positive feelings are deeply rooted in vulnerability. By accepting and embracing it, we can turn it into a strength, benefiting both our personal and professional journeys. I am my own worst enemy. Shame is like a fear of showing our true selves, making it something we usually keep hidden. We've all had those moments when we wish the earth would swallow us to escape judgment and laughter. Often the shame we feel is more painful than what caused it. But guess what? Talking about it, giving it a name, takes away its power. Shame thrives on silence. The less we talk about it, the more it controls us. Yet our natural instinct is to keep shame to ourselves. We can be our own toughest critics, piling up shame internally. However, building self-compassion can make us resilient to shame, allowing us not only to endure it, but to come out stronger and braver. When we're shame-resilient, we can turn situations that would normally make us feel shame into opportunities for others to empathize with us. But this is just the starting point. No one is keeping score but you. Don't we all just keep wanting more and more, thinking it shields us from pain and disappointment? We'll hate to break your bubble, but vulnerability can't be overcome, my friend. For instance, we ruin joyful moments by imagining something bad might happen, a defense mechanism against vulnerability. Perfectionism is another shield, aiming to avoid the possibility of failure. Instead of succumbing to the fear of never being enough, accepting that we are enough allows us to unmask ourselves and reveal our vulnerability. Letting go of perfectionism opens us to criticism and failure without defining our worth. By being content with who we are, we can embrace vulnerability, discard harmful masks and see ourselves and be seen by others. This sets the stage for exploring how our cultural vulnerability benefits various aspects of life. An atmosphere of shame is toxic to any workplace or school. We've all come across some questionable motivational strategies in schools or workplaces, like benchmarking and public shaming for poor performance. But the harmful effects of shame on productivity are well known. Firstly, it leads to disengagement, as people then tend to emotionally disconnect themselves. Secondly, disengagement hampers creativity, innovation, and learning. In environments tainted by shame, you may find yourself struggling to contribute new ideas or find effective solutions. All in all, it's evident that workplaces and schools should explore alternative motivational approaches, possibly emphasizing vulnerability as a positive influence. The change begins with those willing to lead the way. Together, we need to foster a culture that not only counters shame-related issues, but also celebrates worthiness and openness to vulnerability. This isn't just wishful thinking, it's a powerful change that can permeate workplaces, schools, and families. And who holds the key to this transformation? The leaders. The influencers in important positions who can infuse humanity back into education and work. Heads of divisions, for instance, wield the power to shape behavioral patterns, combat shame, and contribute to the success of the entire division. But it's not just about authority. It's about sharing personal challenges and seeking help. When influential figures do this, they build an atmosphere of trust where vulnerability isn't frowned upon, but is used to improve work and learning environments. A shame-free society. We all want the best for our kids, hoping they have happy, connected lives. To teach them important values like feeling worthy and being open about their feelings, we need to understand how they experience shame. If kids feel shame, it can stick with them and affect their lives. Think about moments in your own childhood when you felt really embarrassed. Do those memories still bother you? On the other hand, when kids grow up feeling loved and accepted, they develop a strong sense of being worthy and belonging. Our home should be safe spaces where we can be ourselves. Creating a home without shame helps kids learn to love themselves. As parents, we need to be good examples, living out the values we want our kids to learn. It's like saying, you're worthy and loved just as you are. If we want our kids to believe they're important, we first have to believe it about ourselves. These ways of parenting, being there for our kids and creating a home filled with worthiness instead of shame, are just part of a bigger picture. If we practice these ideas in our daily lives, everyone around us, our friends, family, and coworkers, will benefit and lead happier lives.